Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday's lesson, which breaks into pure good news. In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, 20 to 34, after the bleak picture of a world without resurrection, Paul makes a glorious turn. But in fact, Christ has been raised from the dead. Those words ring like a trumpet. The resurrection is not a theory or a wish. It is a historical event. And because Christ rose, we can be absolutely certain that all who have died in him will rise at his coming. Paul calls Jesus the firstfruits. It's a rich image drawn from the harvest. The firstfruits were the first portion of a crop, a guarantee that the full harvest was surely coming. So Christ's resurrection is the first installment, the pledge, the promise that our resurrection will follow. He went first, and we will follow. Then Paul sweeps us forward to the grand climax of history. At the end of this present evil age, those who died in Christ will be raised bodily. And then, as the last Adam, Christ will deliver the kingdom back to the Father, restoring the rulership of this world to God. Here Paul draws a beautiful contrast between Adam and Christ. Where the first Adam failed, choosing his own way, the ultimate Adam submits himself entirely to the Father's will. What was lost in Eden is fully recovered in Christ. Along the way, Paul uses a couple of vivid arguments to show how foolish it is to deny the resurrection. He points to baptism itself, which symbolizes the believer's union with Christ in his death and resurrection. To deny the resurrection while practicing baptism makes no sense. He also points to the risks he and others took for the gospel. Why would anyone face danger and death for Christ if there were no resurrection? If death were truly the end, it would make more sense simply to chase the pleasures of this world. But Paul knew better, and so can we. Reflect on his confident words elsewhere. I know whom I have believed, and am persuaded that he is able to keep what I have committed to him. How could Paul be so sure about the future? Because his hope rested not on himself, but on the living Christ who had conquered death. And that same assurance is offered to each of us. We do not face the grave as those without hope. Christ, the firstfruits, has gone before us, and his resurrection guarantees ours. So friends, hold this close. The tomb is empty. The harvest has begun, and one day, at his coming, the full harvest will be gathered home. Because Christ has been raised, we have every reason to live with unshakable hope.